Welcome to this first in a video series on Gmail. I'm Deanne Hermes, and let's get started. So, the basics about Gmail is this is focused in Google platform, and there's several ways that you can access your Gmail account. So, I want to run through those really quick first. So, when you open a brand new Chrome browser, you're going to notice in the top right-hand corner, you will see here's a little tab for opening Gmail. That's one way that you can access that. Then you have your little waffle over here. And when you click on this, some people call it a waffle, some people call it a grid. There's lots of different names. But these are all the different apps that is available within your account using that are all Google based. And so notice over here, you will also see Gmail here. The other way that you can access Gmail, and sometimes if you're in a non-Chrome browser, in Safari or something else, you might want to type in Gmail, and this will bring up an option for you to also access mail or google.mail.com. So several different options for accessing your Gmail account. All right, so once we have accessed that, this is going to be your kind of landing page. Now, in this first video, I'm going to go over just some basic tools for using your Gmail account, and then each tutorial video thereafter will get more and more focused on the different tools and the different ways that you can use Gmail, as well as how can you filter your email, how can you create different categories for your email. There's so many tools and tips and tricks. So, but in this first one, we're just going to talk about some real basic things to begin with. So, first of all, let's look at composing an email. So, in the top left-hand corner, you are going to see compose. You may also just see the little pencil. There's lots of different ways that you can set up your settings with your Gmail account. So, but when we go ahead and click on this, it's going to open a brand new box for us. And this new box is where we're going to go ahead and start typing in our email. Now, I want to show you a couple of things. Oops. Now, let me see. I'm going to have to move my picture. So I hit the minimize button, which brought it down small into the bottom of my screen. When I click on this big arrow, I'm going to go ahead and this is going to maximize it. So now we have the full screen view. Now, I don't know about you, but sometimes when I have that smaller window, it opens the small one by default. And I'm not really, I would really prefer to have the bigger version because it's easier to see what you're typing in that way. So I want to show you a little tip. In the bottom right-hand corner, you're going to see three little dots. When you click on those three little dots, you are going to get some specific some features that can go along with this. So one of the features is default to full screen. So when you click on this, now every time you open a new email, it's going to automatically open it big. So let me show you what I mean by that. I'm going to get rid of that one. And when I hit compose, now it's big again. So that is one of my favorite tips right off the bat. If you don't like it that way and you try it, if you click on those three things, all you have to do is just get rid of that. And now the next one you open is going to open it back in the small window. And again, these little icons at the top. So the little minimize, it puts it down in the bottom of your screen, and then you can maximize it. Or if you want to get rid of it, you can click your little X and that will get rid of that for you. So let's talk about, now that we have opened our email, we want to start composing a couple of things. So within your domain, in ours, we have our school district. Often when you start typing in the person's name, it's going to go ahead and find that, locate that for you, as well as lots of different addresses here. Now, a couple of distinctions in Monroe is that staff members have an address at monroe.wednet.edu. If you see an address that shows at school.monroe.wednet.edu, those are our student accounts. So just being careful. I know we actually have a teacher and a student who have the same name. So just being mindful of that to make sure that you're selecting the right person. And then you can go ahead and select a person and you can keep going. Now, a couple of things about the CC and the BCC features. So CC means that you're going to carbon copy this to somebody. So let's say that I want to send myself an email here, but I also want to CC somebody else who's related to it, to the topic, but it's really an email to me. I'm going to carbon copy that person in there. And then on BCC, when I send out mass communication, so I want to send out an email to everyone in the school district, but I don't want everyone in the school district to be able to reply to everybody else because, boy, that would fill people's email boxes in a big hurry. So that's what the BCC is. So it's a blind carbon copy. And once I put somebody's name in here, and then they will get a copy of it, but none of the other recipients will see that that person got a copy of it. And so, again, this feature, I use this feature just when I'm sending out mass communication so that a person can't reply all and it will go back to everybody on that list. So, if you reply all to a to or a CC, then it will automatically reply to anybody who falls into those two categories. So, just to kind of clarify that just a tiny bit. All right. So, so now I'm going to fill in here. I have my subject that I can do. I can start typing and notice how automatically it starts to autofill for me. So a lot of our features in Gmail now have that set up for you. And you'll notice at the end of my name there, it just says tab. So if I click tab, it will automatically add in that information. And sometimes I'll be typing and it will give me almost a full line. It's like it's reading my brain. And if I like it, I just hit tab and it will move my cursor to the end of that line. In a further video, I'll show you how to disable that feature if you don't like that feature. Okay, next thing I want to talk to you about in this beginning video is the toolbar at the bottom of your email draft. And so there's several things in here that I just want to call your attention to. The first toolbar here, this toolbar refers to, I'm sorry, I'm going to move some of these out of the way. This toolbar, I'll hide this, refers to some of the different features that you can do within your email. So if you want to change the size of your font, you can come down here and you can change the size, bold your font, etc. If you want your text to be aligned on one way or another or in the middle, if you want to add bullet points, you can click on this one and it can add bullet points into your text for you, or numbers as well. So these are features that are pretty common in most of your text editing tools out there these days. So I'm not going to really talk much more about that. However, some of the features at the bottom, these are features that you may not know all about. So the first one is here you have your send button. However, if you click the little caret window right here, then it gives you an option to schedule an email to send. So there are times when I'll be honest with you, I've kind of figured out times of days when people have more of a tendency to read their email than others. And so sometimes I will set up an email to go out at a certain day and a certain time because data has shown that that's when people tend to open emails more than other times. Or if it's late at night and I'm typing an email and I don't really want it to go into a mailbox at night because then it might end up in the bottom of a big string of emails the next day. So there are some specific reasons why sometimes I will schedule different emails to be sent. But you can go ahead and you can edit this and you can schedule a time for this email to be sent, and then it will send it whenever you set that up. So that's kind of a handy little tool. Again, that's right next to the send button when you click on the little down arrow. All right. As we scroll through, here's some different formatting options, again, for your email. It's much like this toolbar here. And then when you click on it, it will disappear. And then if it's not there and you're like, where did it go? Then you click on it and it comes back. This is attaching files. This is a pretty important feature. When you click on this button to attach a file to your email, then it is going to open up, if you're using a laptop, it's going to open up the files that are saved onto your computer. So if I wanted to, oops, sorry about that. If I wanted to attach a file, and I'm going to go to my desktop and I have a picture file I want to attach, I'm going to go ahead and just click on that. And then I'm going to click on that open button and it will automatically add that into my email. I want to show you another little trick. So I'm going to minimize my screen here, all of my multiple screens. And now I'm going to find me again here so that, let's see, here we go. So another thing that you can do, oh, sorry. I'm not having a whole lot of luck here with things. Okay. Another thing you can do if you want to attach a file that's directly on your desktop, you can, if you minimize your window, you can drag that right into the email and it will attach it that way as well. So in this case, it attached the picture and it attached it right in there. Now, I tell you that because sometimes I often wonder, how do people get an actual picture in the email? Because oftentimes it's just a link. So there you go. You drag and drop and it will attach it right into that email for you. Okay, so that's the attach feature. Now, this next one, this one I think is just super helpful, is if you want to add a link into your email. So I'm going to come out here to the Monroe School District website, and let's say I want to link this into my email. So I'm going to grab that address, and if I hit the Control C, this is going to copy that address, and then I'm going to go back to my mail. And now if I click on this little link button right here, insert link. Now, if I want to I'm going to put text to display, Monroe School District website. And then I had copied that link already. So Control C is copy, Control V is paste. I'm going to paste that in. And if I want to test it, I can click on this little test button to make sure I got the right one. Sometimes that is really important, I've found. And then, okay. And now notice how in my email, now it's there, it's already underlined so people know that this is a link. Click on here and it's a link out to where I wanted to show you. Now, another thing you can do, sometimes I'm typing in my email and I get this far and I'm like, oh, I should probably put a link to that. And I already have the text. If I just take my cursor and highlight that text, and then I come down and click on the insert link, you can see the text is already here. Control V, I can paste that link in there. Okay. And notice how it automatically linked those words that I already had written in there. So just a couple different ways to do that. But adding links into an email these days in particular is a pretty important skill. All right, next along the bottom we have emojis. So if you're an emoji fan and you want to put an emoji in, you can just click on the emoji and it will automatically add it to your email. The next icon over, this one is as a Google district, this one is super duper important. So this little icon right here will insert files from your Google Drive directly into your email account. Really helpful. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And now it's going to ask me, do I want to grab something from my drive, something that's shared with me, a recent, or upload something? Now, I use recent a lot, just because that's one of the things. Usually, what I'm attaching is something that I have already been working on. Or if you come to your drive. However, searching is also really a good way to do this. So if I was looking for, I was doing something with my library, I could search for library and it will pull up things that are in my drive that have that name to it. So if you know your name of what you're looking for, so now what I can do is I'm going to go ahead, when I click on it, notice how it highlights it lightly so that I know it's been selected. I'm going to click on insert. And now what it's going to do is it's going to add that document directly right in here. So now you can see there's that presentation. So it's automatically moved from my Google Drive into my email. Now, another super important piece about this, and you're going to notice when I go to send this, but you're sharing, and we'll get into this more when we get into Google, but there's a lot of different share features that we use within Google. And so as soon as you click the send button, it's going to ask you, do you want to share this presentation with the people who are on that email? So It's going to prompt you. So in case you're worried about, well, do I have to go in and edit the share features before I can send it? It will automatically do that for you. So it saves, I can't tell you how many times that has saved me so much time by being able to just click on that, and then it will automatically prompt me to give them access right that way. Okay, so that's adding things into your email from your Google Drive. Next is inserting a photo. So again, sometimes I showed you how you can drag and drop, because sometimes getting photos is not always easy into an email. So you have different options here. You can upload. Again, if this is one that you have on your desktop, you can click, you can choose your photo. If you click on here, it's going to show you what's on your desktop to add. If you have a web address. Now, this is also really helpful. So let me show you. If I'm out here and I want to have a picture of a Chromebook, and I want to add a picture of a Chromebook, oops, it helps if I spell correctly. Okay, so I can click out here, and now I'm going to head over here to images because I want to find an image of a Chromebook. When I click on here, now I see there's a lot of different images. And so I'm going to open that up slightly. But what I can do is if I right click on that, it's going to give me lots of different options. But one of those options is to copy the link address. So I click on that copy link address, and now I go back to my mail, and now I can put the URL there. And again, that's Control V, paste. And sometimes when you do searches for things, sometimes the website isn't quite correct. So that was just a quick one. But oftentimes you will find web addresses that way that you can put it in here, and it will paste that image then into your email. All right. And finally, let's take a look. The next one over here is to insert a signature. I'm not going to go over that right now because that's a feature when we get into settings, how you can set up your signature within your settings for your account. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk to a little bit about today, and your email, and just kind of the basic things is what does that look like when you go to compose? What are the tools and the features that you can use? Anytime you see three little dots, click on that because that's going to give you more tools depending on where you are and what it is that you're doing. So let's say I'm not a very good speller, which I think I've gotten worse over the years, just to be honest with you. I can check my spelling, and it will go through my document and it will check spelling for me. And if it finds anything that is misspelled, then it will show that for me. Okay, click on my dots again. And if I wanted to print, this is a quick link to print this email before I send it. And anyway, so a couple different things in here besides that default to full screen that you might be interested in. And then if I just wanted to, I had this email and I changed my mind, I want to delete it, I can just click right here and it will discard this as a draft. Now, before I go to send this, I'm going to X out of it. Let's say I accidentally, and I've done this so many times, I accidentally X out and I'm like, oh my gosh, I just lost that email I just spent all that time on. But you really haven't. Google saves everything into drafts. And so on the left-hand side of your Gmail account, you're going to see drafts. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And now you're going to notice there's that email in draft format. I can just click on it and it opens it right back up for me. And then it's ready for me to send. So I'm going to put a subject in here really quick. Now, remember we had attached that presentation. So let me show you what this is going to look like, unless I've shared it with myself already. So I'm going to go ahead and click send. I must have already sent it. Just a minute. We'll talk in a second. Once your message is sent, you have a little undo button down here. You have 30 seconds to click on that undo in case you accidentally sent something and then you're like, oh, I forgot to add this. You have a small window of time to be able to do that. And then your little bar disappears. So, all right. Normally, I'm using my student Gmail account here to walk you through this. So I must have already shared it with myself in my regular account. But what it would do is it would prompt me when I send something with a Google. It would say, would you like to share this with so-and-so? And then you would want to say yes. And that way, if you send a Google document through an email, anybody's going to be able to open it. So I hope that was helpful today. We talked about composing an email and what the different features of that composing was all about. So we will move into some more features in the next tutorial. Thanks for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.